Shalom, shalom, shalom. Hope everybody's good. Hope everybody's blessed. Hope everybody's modestly dressed. If you are new to my channel, I make Sim 4 videos such as Let's Plays and builds. And if that's something that you think that you might like, you should subscribe. Now, the reason why I started recording in the middle of this build is because this build was for the primary reason of getting better. Like, I was just practicing on how to build and just making the house kind of look realistic. A lot of my houses, they seem like misshapen or something like that, or they're missing something. Like, I think my first home that I built, I forgot to put a sink, and I also forgot to put a foundation. So the house was like on the floor. It was on the ground, and it just looked a mess. And over time, my builds, I think, they progressed, but at the same time, they still look subpar. And maybe just like in comparison to other people and their builds, but at the same time, the point of like me wanting to build is so the houses look realistic, so that when you decide you want to download the home off of my gallery, which is my gallery ID is Isra Adia B, and so when you decide to download the house, it just looks realistic, depending on the type of home that I'm trying to do, because some homes may not be realistic. But yeah, so it was for the purposes of just practicing. And then when I got to a certain point in building the house, I was like, wow, this looks pretty decent. I kind of want to record this so that I can have content on YouTube. So that's exactly what I did. Yeah, so I did this build, I don't even know how long ago, maybe like a month ago, and now I'm just doing a voiceover for it. So I also have like other builds that I've done that I haven't recorded over yet. So we have a lot of builds coming, maybe, hopefully. But I went on Google and typed in floor plans, and that's how I basically got the look of the house to look this way. I looked at floor plans. That's pretty much it. So all you have to do if you want to build a house that kind of looks realistic, go to Google, type in floor plans, and then they give you a couple of websites for options. And on these websites, you can click things such as the style of the home, whether you want it to be like a country home or you want it to be modern. Or you can choose how many floors you want, how many rooms you want, how many bathrooms you want. It's all up to you. And then they give you an assortment of houses, and you choose the one that you want. They give you the top floor and the bottom floor, different angles of the house, so that you know exactly what the front, the back, and the sides look like. And that's pretty much all you need. And you add the furniture. Some houses, they show you inside and they have furniture and other things. The house is like furnished, and you can kind of get an idea of what you want to put in the house. And yeah, so this house, to me, it kind of looks odd. It's pretty big, and it's just because the dimensions in Sims versus a real house, they're just odd. Like, they just really do not add up with each other. So the house is like way bigger than what I would have wanted it to be. On the floor plan, like, I followed the floor plan almost to a T. In the house, their house looks normal, but my house looks just, I guess, huge. I really don't know. The dimensions in real life in Sims, they just don't add up. So that's pretty much it. I think I would, next time, if I was to build, and my tip or my like advice would be for you to kind of like downsize the house, like while you're building, if things look a little bit too spacious, such as like the bathrooms or like hallways. Hallways are a big thing. Hallways are supposed to kind of be like skinny and narrow, and to just help you get from one place of the house to the other. But these hallways I had to like, furnish them with stuff. Just put a whole bunch of stuff in the house. So I have a couple of pros and cons for this house. The first pro is that the game is almost 100% base game. So I had put the house on the gallery, and someone said, oh, this is I'm paraphrasing because I forgot what they said, but they're like, oh, this home is nice, it's awesome, or whatever, but it is not base game. And I looked at the items that they had on there. So apparently it's not 100% base game like I thought. it was, I think I put like it was either like a figurine or a mirror from another pack in the game, and I didn't mean to. And then I added something from Country Kitchen Kit. Now, I think that kit along with the Bust the Dust and the Retro, I think that they're base game. I think that they're free, but I put that in there. So if you decide to download the home and you don't have that pack or you don't have that kit, it is okay. Those items do not add like much importance to the build, so if they disappear, it's fine. You can replace them with something base game. So with the house being so big, it is spacious. You're not gonna have your Sims get lost in the house. Oh yeah, and the house, it fits 8 Sims in it, so the maximum amount of Sims that you can have in a house, you have enough room for. You have the parents' bedroom downstairs, and then you have the children's bedrooms upstairs. So those are all the pros. The con, pretty expensive home, not even gonna lie. I don't know how much it is, but pretty expensive. And it looks funny. That's pretty much it. Because it's so big and so spacious, it looks odd. So I was kind of rushing to get to this part of the build after saying all that I had to say about the pros and the cons and whatnot. So I actually wrote a story to go along with this house. The story may be kind of dramatic, maybe kind of too much. If you're like listening to it and you're like, I don't like this story, you could turn it off or whatever. And give me feedback on the story. Like, I like giving stories to the houses. They may be a little bit too much, I don't know, because it involves like infidelity and stuff like that. But I used to write on Wattpad. I don't know if you know what that is, but a app that you can basically create stories, other people can read it. So the story is a tad bit dramatic. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get started so I don't run out of time. So this house is owned by a military mother named Kathleen. And Kathleen, she has 6 kids with her husband Joey. And for the majority of her kids' life, she's basically been serving in the military, so she really doesn't know her kids. It seems like she comes home, gets pregnant, has a baby, and then goes back into the military. That's kind of like the cycle that it seems like she has. Now, with them having 6 kids, Joey, her husband, who is an accountant, really doesn't matter about his job, but I just put he's an accountant. Nobody questions an accountant. He has a small speculation, a small doubt that not all of the kids that they share together. He thinks that some of the kids are not his. And he doesn't really want to say anything to his wife, only because one, it's a small speculation, and he loves these kids. Like, he doesn't want to break up a happy home. He thinks that their home is happy, so he doesn't want to break it up. So he's not wrong. He's not wrong about his wife, Kathleen. His wife has actually been having an affair with her lieutenant general, and his name is Falcon. So when Kathleen first enlisted into the military or the army, she was scoped out by the lieutenant general. He found her very attractive, and since he's at such a high rank, whatever he wants, he pretty much gets. He was very lenient with her, and usually lieutenant generals aren't maybe on the base that the first enlisters are, but he was there that day, and he just found favor in her. So he started flirting with her and everything, and Kathleen loves her husband, she loves Joey, and she wouldn't want to compromise their happy life, their happy home. But she had other things on her mind. So when Lieutenant Falcon seemed to be flirting with Kathleen, it seems like she was falling underneath that spell. But in actuality, she had plans of, power. She wanted more power, she wanted more rank, she wanted money, and she knew that Lieutenant Falcon could give it to her. Now, while he was falling in love, she was devising different plans, and instead of her serving in the army at certain times, she was actually on vacation with the lieutenant. Now, her husband, he loves the country as well, but he really just doesn't know about the army and how many times you can serve, and he doesn't know. So with him being ignorant to that information, she could tell him any lie that she wanted to. And with his speculations, because they weren't woo-hooing as many times as she was getting pregnant at certain times, that is really where his doubt kind of set in, and he's like, are these kids mine? So with her going on these vacations with the lieutenant, she got pregnant not once but 3 times on these times. Now each time she got pregnant, she got better and better at hiding it. So she would go on a vacation with the lieutenant, and him and her would be in Paris, or they would be in Mexico. They would be all over the world. And she would say something like, I have to go home, I have to see my kids, I have to do this, I have to do that. Now the lieutenant was confused because he's like, I just saved you from having to go serve, or I just saved you from your boring life at home. Why do you have to go back home? And her kids was always her excuse, and he understood. He has kids of his own. You know, who could question a mother that loves her kids? Anyways, it was actually her being pregnant, and she didn't want her lieutenant to see that she was pregnant. Yeah, it would ruin everything. It would stop her from being able to get more money out of him, and stop her from, increasing her rank, because he had the power to boost her up in it. So there that was. And she went home. Her and Joey would woohoo, and then boop, she would be pregnant, even though she was already pregnant before. Now Kathleen, as soon as she got pregnant the first time, and the second time, and the third, she knew she was in too deep. 3 of the kids belonged to Joey, and 3 of the kids belonged to Lieutenant Falcon. Well, what could she do? Could she tell Joey? No. Of course not. Joey loves their kids, all of them. But she knew that it would be a custody battle. It would be some type of repercussions, consequences for her cheating on him multiple times. And plus, she didn't know her kids that well. So if there was a custody battle, she knew she wouldn't get custody of the kids. She probably wouldn't be able to see her kids ever again. And she thought about that very hard. But not enough to stop. Now, Kathleen had 2 decisions. She could continue to living her life the way she wanted to, going on free vacations, getting up in rank, and nobody suspecting that 3 of the kids didn't belong to Joey. Or she could take action. But that action may cause bloody footprints. Is Kathleen ready for that? Anyways, that's the end of the story. If you liked the video, please like it. And if you like the little story I wrote, comment if you want more in the future, and I'll put more stories over the speed builds. Thank you for watching. Shalom.